What's up, everybody? It's Steve Williams, founder and president of the creditrepairshop.com. I want to try to use something that I saw on YouTube to make a point. This is a fight with George Foreman and Michael Moore that I saw years ago. This was in the 90s. But I want you to just see something because I'm gonna put this into a perspective of what debt collectors do, what people do that are successful in business and their personal life. It's what it's about is to not give up and to keep trying what you know works, not to be sporadic and just all over the place. So I'm going to play this and then I'm going to explain it and then I'm going to go over to show you something that has happened for debt collectors. And you will see how these two are connected. So I want you to look at this and I'm going to take the sound off. Well, the sound isn't on there. But look at this. He was hurt right there. Now, watch this. He's gone. Now, I want to show you something. I'm going to move this over to what I just saw with a article about debt collectors. Now, this is an article that was published yesterday. Here we go. August 8th, 2020. Debt collectors profits soar with people flush and easy to find. Now, the the easy to find how they were able to find people was because the federal government made available where people were through that database. They're always talking about China and everybody else selling our personal information. Well, they were selling our personal information to debt collectors to find people. It was easier for them to find people, and they knew that they had gotten some money. So what had happened was, and this is where it relates to what debt collectors are always doing. Uh, Debt collectors always send out the letters, no matter what they're going to do. They're going to send that letter out to people. They're going to research on how to find them. And if they find them, they're going to put pressure on going to collect the money. So what happened was just like how Michael Moore was fighting and he was all over the place, didn't have a plan. He didn't stick to the plan. He had a plan, but he didn't stick to the plan. And George kept walking them down, and then all of a sudden an opportunity came about. And that's what happened with debt collectors. The opportunity came about. They always go about their work the same way, but then the opportunity of what happened with everyone with the virus, with all of us with the virus, and then where people got that stimulus check, and then they were able to continue doing everything that they did, but they were able to find people easier because the opportunity came out where people wanted to be put on record to where they were at so they can make sure they got that stimulus check. So right here it says that their profits bumped. And we're talking about just from what March up to now, $6 million bump than they expected. 8%, it said here, cash collections jumped 8% to a record, while Encore Capital said revenue got a $66 million bump than expected. Now, let's go over here. And this is why I do this. Uh, I go over this all the time because some people say, well, you repeat things over and over and over again. I repeat things over and over again because people are not always getting it. You think you have it, but you don't really have it. And that's why I want to go over it. This is the process. It's just like knowing your name. People call your name and you hear your name, you respond to it. You respond automatically. When it comes to doing stuff like this with fighting debt collectors and doing anything that you don't know, if you haven't got in your mind, in your subconscious, inside of you to where you do it automatically, you're going to be susceptible to being all over the place and getting off the game plan. And that's why I constantly just want to repeat it over and over and over again because if you come to me and try to work with me to get a solution, or you're watching on YouTube to get a solution, the solution is always going to be in this order but you may be coming in a certain spot. You might be coming in here because you didn't do any of this stuff here, or you might be coming here because you've lost. So let's walk through this. Let's just walk through it. You need to internalize this because and everyone that's on this channel that's watching this video, either you're a subscriber or not. And if you're not a subscriber, subscribe because you need to get this information. Please subscribe right now. Uh, you're here because you're somewhere in this loop. You're somewhere in this loop of dealing with your debt and your credit. So, first, step one, which is what the debt collectors kept doing, just like George kept throwing that punch, they always throw this punch over and over and over again right here. And if you don't respond to this punch, you give them the legal right to place that information on your credit reports. You have 30 days to do it. When you get that 30-day letter, the first thing you should do is number two here. Check the statute of limitations on that particular debt. Where you can go and look at that is the last charge off or the charge off date. Go on your credit reports and look at that. If you don't have your credit reports, there's a link here. Go to my website, your3scores.com. Look in the comments and look at when that debt was when the last charge off date for that debt, because and then what you do is you look at your state for the statute of limitations on contract law, and if it's past the statute of limitations and it's not a judgment and they did not contact you, you did not make a payment to reset the date, anything, then you just simply write them a letter stating that they're attempting to collect a debt that's past the statute of limitations to legally collect in your state, and that you demand that they cease all collection activities, and or you will report them to the proper authorities in your state. And the proper authorities in your state is the Attorney General's office and the department that manages or licenses banking and debt collection companies. Is usually the same department. In my state of Wisconsin, it's the Department of Finance. If it's not past statute of limitations and they can legally come after you for it, you need to do a debt validation on that debt. That's where you make a request to them in writing that they send you all the information to substantiate that you have to pay that debt, that this is not 100% a valid debt. And what we mean by that is not that it's not yours, is that they have to establish by showing you the original contract. They have to establish showing you all your payment history, not just one invoice or the last statement that they had from the original creditor. And you go a step further with them buying the debt, you want them to make clear to you where are they in the relationship with you. Did they buy the debt? Did they assume the debt? Are they working for the original creditor? You want all of that revealed in the debt validation. Now, the next step is if they take you to court, they may not respond to this. They may not respond to this. They may just go straight to court and send you a court summons or citation. You do the debt validation with the court summons and citation. The difference is that you're doing what's called answering the court summons. You're submitting answers, and they're going to have them point by point. It's going to be either paragraphs or it's going to be by numbers, and you need to answer to all of them. But when they get to talking about the amount that you owe, that's when you do a debt validation again. You validate the debt, but it's going to be with the court summons or citation. And they have to respond to that, and you send a copy of that to the attorney that's handling the plaintiff, and you send it to the court. So they have to answer that. Now, what has happened with clients and people that have watched this on YouTube, and I have videos on how to do this, I have videos on how to do this right here on my YouTube channel. Now, what usually would happen is if they can't gather that information, they will either give you a call and say that you don't have to show up to court, or they'll say it's canceled, or but you have to go. This is a trick that they play. They're hoping that you don't show up so they can just get a default judgment. The attorney, when they call your name, they're going to be looking around, and if you do not show up, they're going to say they didn't show up and they want a default judgment. But if you show up, what usually happens is they're going to say that the case is dismissed. That's what they're going to say. This has happened numerous times for people because if they can't get the information, which is they have to provide all of that information when they come to court, and the judge is going to want them to have it because you have a right to get it. That they're gonna you can just say that you wanted to get it dismissed. And if you did what I told you to do, where you responded to the court summons and you responded here, they've had two opportunities to provide that to you. So when they ask for more time from the judge just to try to string this out, hoping that you won't come to court the next time, you just say you gave them plenty of time and you want it to be dismissed with prejudice. With prejudice mean that they can never bring it back again. Now, how to stop debt collectors if you lose. If you lose in this section here where they provide everything, they prove everything, contracts, all the statements, everything, then you're going to lose. They're going to get a judgment. Now, the next thing that you want to do is if they do get the judgment, there's certain ways that you can get out of paying a judgment. And I have videos here on YouTube for it, but let's just go through it briefly. If you're on disability income, if you're a retired veteran, if you don't meet the poverty guidelines, that's where you don't earn enough money to be garnished any of your money. Or if you have a medical hardship, you can stop collections with that. And that is something that I would also throw in if it is proven that the debt is yours. When you look at the statute of limitations and you have to pay it, I would throw that in with the debt validation to let them know where you're at financially because they may choose not to move forward at that point. The next step is debt settlement. If you make enough money and you don't have any of those circumstances where you don't have to, they won't be able to get money from you, the next step is to do debt settlement. There's nothing wrong with doing debt settlement if you've worked through all of these steps here. And then after you finish your debt settlement, then you start working on credit repair. So this is the steps that we do with our customers. The only difference is that we start with the credit repair, and with the credit repair, we're asking for these two right here with our credit repair process. That's what we're doing up front, where you say provide the information to prove that that they have to pay this debt. That's the only thing is that we've moved this step here. So I'm going to end the video here. Please like this video. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. I give you good information all the time. It's not just about credit repair. It's also about having a positive mindset. If you need help with your credit, please visit thecreditrepairshop.com. If you need your credit reports and scores, please visit the website your3scores.com. I really appreciate it. Post your comments and questions. I get to as many of those as I can per day. I can't get to all of them, but I get to as many as I can per day. And I also try answering those questions in new and updated videos that I post. Thanks a lot. This is Stephen Williams, founder and president of thecreditrepairshop.com. Thank you.